Well, hello my beautiful people. I thought I'd come here and get out of the wind, but it turns out that there's wind everywhere today in my part of the world, in beautiful Mandurah. So just touching base, I guess, letting you know how we're going, how things are progressing. It's 3 weeks and a little bit, couple of days before I head off across the country to the other side of the world. If you haven't watched my other video, that will explain, I guess, where I've been and inviting you on that journey across the Nullarbor Plains with me. I do have some tarot cards with me, so I'd like to do a quick reading today as well. But what's coming through for me, I booked the removals today for a backload from some of my treasures to go across the country. So there's a big relief that has dropped in after that, and I managed to sneak in a quick cup of coffee with a girlfriend, and this is really interesting. So what's coming up is that, talking to her, is that there seems to be a lot of people in our world today that are really lonely. Now, this particular girl is a woman, I should say, is an absolutely beautiful soul, and we actually just met when I was walking along the beach one day. Her kids and husband were swimming in the ocean, and I just stopped and we started chatting. We were chatting on the beach for about an hour, and we've now had a beautiful friendship for the last 3 years. And she and I were talking today about that meeting, and she was telling me about a lady that she's just met in a very similar kind of organic way, and I was telling her about some of the beautiful exchanges I've had with selling some of my things that I have to clear. And it seems to be, again, that these people that we're meeting are people that, I guess, on the surface they seem like they have active social lives, they seem happy and fulfilled, but when you really knuckle down, a lot of them are quite lonely, particularly, and I obviously don't want to say too much, but the theme that is coming up for me with a lot of people is that there's a lot of people at the moment, or in recent times, have been dealing with loss and grief. And I think that really puts some people in a really lonely place. And so I think that's where I wanted to just pull a couple of cards today and just see if we can get, I guess, any advice on how to handle grief. And what was really clear in talking to this beautiful friend of mine today is, don't be afraid to just start up those conversations, with someone on the beach, or, there's another beautiful girl in that circle of friends, and she met her at the local library. So, particularly for this girlfriend of mine, she'd moved across from the UK to Australia. I had similar experiences when I moved from Queensland across to Western Australia. It's very difficult to, I guess, if you don't have an existing friendship circle, to really make those connections. But yeah, I just wanted to say, don't be afraid, because if you feel anxious or nervous about connecting with someone new, it's quite likely that that they or somebody else may be feeling that loneliness or that desire for connection as well. Now, there's some dolphins out there. I don't know if we can quite see it on this video. It's possibly a little bit too far out. We might be able to ask the spirits and the guides to see if they can call them in a little bit closer for us. That would be lovely. All right. So I'm going to see if I can find some kind of stable footing on this rock here. See if we can pull out a couple of cards to help us deal with those issues, I guess, of grief, loneliness, how to deal with all of that. And funnily enough, one of the lovely ladies that I've recently met, who is dealing with a little bit of grief, her messenger is the dragonfly, and I just had a couple of dragonflies flying around me. Now there's one there, I don't know if that came across the video, and they are actually everywhere. There's probably at least a dozen that I can see there behind me. So Joe, if you're watching, they're for you, my darling. All right, now let's just pop this down here. see if I can try and keep some beautiful scenery in place there for you. Right, not sure if what we can see there. Hopefully you don't just see my feet. Okay, when I wasn't expecting to do this today, but when I start my trip across the Nullarbor, I will have a tripod with me, so it will be a little bit better than just kind of propping you up on the rocks. But you know, hey, that's what we do. We just go with the flow, we wing it, and that's, you know, it tends to normally work out. So let's just see if we can. We've got the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck here. Let's see if we can get some advice from the guides, from your angels, from my angels, from spirit, from the universe, wherever you would like that message to come from your higher self perhaps, around how to connect in and how to really deal with those feelings of isolation and potentially grief as well, how we can navigate our way through that. Let's see what the messages are. All right, we haven't got any jumpers now. That's probably good, because I don't want cards to fly off into the landscape here. All right, so what I want to say, we've got the cards that have come out here. We have the Page of Cups and the Judgment card. Now the Page of Cups, what I really like about this card is it's asking you to maintain or reintroduce yourself, if you will, to that idea of youthful curiosity and excitement and play. Now I have had a lot of people kind of comment on I guess my energy at the moment, and they've kind of, I guess, observed that my energy seems lighter, and the reason for that is because I'm letting go a lot of stuff. You know, I'm not for me, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, the Four of Pentacles came out. It's that letting go of things and opening up and feeling that freedom, feeling that weight lifting off your shoulders. And so for me, even though I'm extremely stressed with trying to pack boxes and book removals and all of that sort of stuff, buy CB radios for my trip over, you know, I'm in that space of pure excitement and joy and wonder and curiosity. You know, I can't wait to hit the road and see what adventures are ahead of me and ahead of us, if you're going to hang around for that. So yeah, so that's really lovely. So in terms of managing your grief, in terms of feeling lonely, it's about inviting that youthful spirit back and seeing what you can do to connect in with that. Maybe even reflecting on what you used to like doing as a younger person and connecting back in with that. Again, what comes to mind is a conversation that I had with someone, and they hadn't danced for years, and you know, they'd sort of had this injection of life visit them, and they started dancing around the lounge room, and you know, there was just so much joy in this person's face when they were talking about it. So there's this message is kind of coming through for you, is to look at what things did bring you joy when you were younger and tapping into that. Now this Judgment card also, obviously the Judgment is hearing a call to something higher. So if you are wrestling maybe with loneliness, with some grief, maybe it's also an opportunity for you to connect in with your higher self, connect in with your own guides potentially, and see if there's something that you're not seeing at the moment, something you're not hearing. Can you actually open your ears to hear the call of those angels? Can you hear a calling to something more? And I feel like that if you are open enough to hearing that, then that will help to bring in and help to heal that space. And look, I know grief is difficult because it's it's a really hard one to, you know, it's one of those things that will never go. But I guess with time, as I say, it does get easier, but it's always going to be there. And yeah, what else is coming through there too is to remember that if you are grieving someone who's on the other side or passed over, it's to remember that you know, that connection is still always there, all right, even like on that spirit level. So some of you may even want to ask for signs. So whether that be asking for a sign, whether you have a totem, say for argument's sake the dragonfly, or a feather, or a particular color feather. So there may be some kind of message that you can ask for there. I did see the dolphin just pop up in front of us there. Again, the dolphin's beautiful message about tapping into that play again, that youthful excitement and play and fun. Yeah, the dolphins are quite far out, but they're still there. It's still a totem message for us. All right, I'll just do a quick shuffle, see if any other messages do want to come through. I do want to keep it fairly short and sweet. If there's any particular topics you would like me to cover off on, maybe do a reading on a particular subject, yeah, just let me know. Okay, so the 5 of Cups has come out, which is really interesting, because that's really what we're talking about. And the message with the 5 of Cups is to remember, obviously, you know, this is somebody who's quite acutely in grief, but what they are doing is they're focusing on those 3 cups that have spilt in front of them. And sometimes when we're in this space, and obviously if it's acute, it's quite okay to kind of go there, but what we don't want to do is stay in this acute stage of grief for too long or forever, or you know, there comes a time when we've got to turn around and look at those 2 full cups, because we are being offered an opportunity, or opportunities of joy and abundance and love are being offered to us, and we're just not, we've turned our back on it, literally. So it is, again, an invitation maybe just to ask yourself, are you ready to turn around and look at those 2 full cups? All right, my lovely friends, I'll see if I can pick this up. And yeah, hopefully that you weren't just looking at rock before. So we've got some people out there fishing in that boat. Let's see, it looks like they might be crabbing. They look like they're picking up a pot. So Mandurah is very well known for its crab pots, or crabbing, down here. It's a beautiful day out here now. Out of the wind, gorgeous. I hope it shows up as nicely on the camera as it does in the flesh. Anyway, as I said, just a quick check-in. I thought this would be more interesting than you seeing my piles of boxes and mess that I'm still sorting through. Yeah, just over 3 weeks, my friends, and let's take off and explore what is ahead of us on the trip across the Nullarbor, across Australia, probably around 4,000 kilometres. So I'm sure there'll be lots of opportunity for us to stop and do some readings, have a chat, maybe some meditations, as I said in the previous video. So let's just see what happens, see where it takes us. All right, my friends, if you are still hanging in there with me, thank you for being here. And also, please do remember to subscribe. Oh, there's some beautiful dolphins right over there on the edge of the groin. I'll just zoom in while I'm saying goodbye to you. So as I said, please do subscribe, particularly if you want to be part of that journey across the Nullarbor. Can we see them there? There's a family of them there, or a pod, I guess they call them, of dolphins. Let's see, I'll just give them one more, I guess one more breath, one more opportunity to come up, see if we can see them, and then we will say goodbye. There they are. Ah, they're so peaceful. I think that's it. They've gone down deep for a bit, have a bit of fish, a bit of breakfast. All right. Okay, my friends, thanks for being here. We'll talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.